Dear all virtual participants, as we are about to begin, we would like to seek your cooperation for the smooth conduct of the program. Kindly mute your audio and video to avoid interruption. However, you can ask your questions in the chat box or orally during Q&A session at the end of the event. Esteemed Chief Guest, Sir K. Devanand Pai, Correspondent BWC and Secretary WNES, the resource person for today's program, Madam Shirley Rani, former HOD, Department of Sociology, Besant Women's College, respected Principal, Dr. Satish Kumar Shetty P, Sir Beltangadi Ganesh Krishna Bhatt, Correspondent, Besant Evening College, Convener, Gender Champion Cell, Madam Jyotsna Rajesh, IQAC Coordinator and NAC Coordinator, Deans and HODs of Besant Women's College, dear colleagues and all the virtual participants. Very good morning to one and all. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this webinar on gender equality. Prayer is a communication with God, a dialogue, God talking to us and you talking to God. Let us invoke the blessing of God. I now request Mrs. Shaila Kamath, Department of Secretarial Practice, to lead us into prayers.
Sharanu ninage, Sharanu Vinayaka, Sharanu ninage, Sharanu Vinayaka, Pashankushadara, Mushika Vahana, Pashankushadara, Mushika Vahana, Sarvalamukritane, Gajanana, Sharanu ninage, Sharanu Vinayaka, Sharanu ninage, Sharanu Vinayaka.
Thank you, Madam. I request Mrs. Jyotsna Rajesh, Convener, Gender Champion Cell, to welcome the dignitaries, the virtual participants, and to introduce the resource person.
It is my immense pleasure to introduce our resource person, Mrs. Shirley Rani, former HOD, Department of Sociology, the virtual gathering. Mrs. Shirley Rani has around 35 years of rich teaching experience. She was very famous among the sociology students and students loved her. She has been a resource person to several webinars. A very warm welcome to you, Madam.
Thank you, Jyotsna.
On behalf of the management, principal, Gender Champion Cell and all the faculty, I extend a very cordial welcome to you, Madam.
Thank you so much.
I would like to welcome Secretary of WNES and Correspondent of Besant Women's College, Sri K. Devanand Pai, who have been very supportive in all the activities that we conduct. A very warm welcome to you, sir. I also welcome Sri Beltangadi Ganesh Krishna Bhatt, Management Member, WNES. Welcome, sir. A hearty welcome to our principal, Dr. Satish Kumar Shetty, who has been an inspiration to all our ventures. Welcome, sir. I extend a warm welcome to our IQAC convener, Professor Syed Khadar, sir, and NAC coordinator, Dr. Praveen Kumar Kesi, absence here, who has always been motivating us. A very warm welcome to Mrs. Shaila Kamath, Mrs. Vijaya, Ms. Supraja, and Mr. Arun Das, members of Gender Champion Cell. I am glad to welcome all the faculty members of Besant Women's College and Mr. Ritesh, Technical Engineer, to our program. A very cordial welcome to all the virtual participants who are present in very large number today. Once again, a warm welcome to one and all.
Thank you, Madam. A warm welcome to you too. I now request our Chief Guest, Sir K. Devanand Pai, to speak few words.
My friend and member of the Governing Council of Besant Institutions, Mr. Ganesh Krishnabhat, the principal of our college and the president of this program, Dr. Satish Kumar Shetty, the resource person, Madam Shirley Rani, former HOD of Department of Sociology, present Women's College, the chief of the IQAC, Professor Syed Kader, the convener, Madam Jyotsna, the HOD of Department of Commerce, Dr. Praveen Kumar Kesi, the participants, ladies and gentlemen. Despite decades of progressive efforts and modernization, there is still a great deal of inequality in workplaces in particular and across the country and the society at large. Recently, government employees and many businesses have worked to stamp out issues involving salary discrepancies between genders. They have also sought to ensure men and women receive equal treatment. To help foster gender equality, one could give training to raise awareness and promote fair behavior, provide family-friendly policies, shine a spotlight on successful women both internally and through media channels, establish policies for fair pay work-life balance. Being a women's college, we ourselves strive to bring higher education within the reach of the female section of the society, seeking to transform the social environment. The main objective of this webinar is to create awareness regarding rights and duties of men and women, to enhance knowledge on gender-based issues and challenges in workplace, to promote equality in workplace. Finally, I congratulate the convener and her team for organizing the webinar and wish all the best. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I now request our principal, Dr. Satish Kumar Shetty P, to give the presidential address.
Very good morning to Madam Dr. Professor Shirley Rani, Madam, the guests of honor for the function, and the Secretary of Women's National Education Society and the correspondent of Present Women's College, Sir K. Devanand Pai, the correspondent of Evening College and the member of Women's National Education Society, Sir Beltamedi Ganesh Krishna Bhatt, the IQAC coordinator, Professor Syed Kader, the convener of Gender Equity Cell, Madam Jyotsna Rajesh, members of the team, Ms. Suprajan Lakshmi, Sanubha Baliga, Ms. Shaila Kamath, Ms. Vijay Kumari, and Mr. Gopal Krishna Raikar, Mr. Arun Kumar, and the technical engineer, Mr. Ritesh Kumar, and also Deepika Madam. Today we are talking about one aspect of the whole. Gender inequality is found in different levels. But in today's webinar, we have chosen only the problems pertaining to gender inequality in the workplace. We have also the inequality in health measures, inequal treatment at home, and also in the public spheres. But here we are confined only to one aspect of the whole, is occupational inequality. This is maybe based on the gender, sexuality, the height, the weight, accent, or race. I think all these will be counted, and sometimes this play a very important role because the treatment say given to the men is not given to the women. Even in the case of fixing the salary, the men will get the higher scale compared to women. In today's world scenario, we all know that women are equally good. Whether it is handling, say, heavy vehicles also, they have proved that they are good. Even in the case of other professional games, then sports, they have excelled a lot. And even in the Olympic games, women folk have won so many medals and laurels to the nation. But unfortunate thing is, in the workplace, even today, the treatment served is not the same. Forget about the treatment that we come across in the allied areas, in the urban areas, where they are working in a public sector. Definitely, the treatment is not the same. They are given the treatment far with the men folk. But there are certain areas, particularly the women working in they are not working as cashier or something. There is they are given some menial work, some cleaning work, other things. But they do the work from morning till evening, but they are not going to get the same salary which men are getting. That's why these things have to be overcome. In spite of having 75 years of independence, this problem has not been completely averted. We have seen raising seats for the women folk in the parliament or in the different spheres of the public life. That has to be there, and that has to be properly addressed. Probably in the today's webinar, Madam Shirley Rani will be going to discuss on these aspects about the unequal pay, about the sexual harassment, racism, denied the promotion prospects in some areas, fear of asking to be paid what you are worth. They are not paid the worth. If God says the worth 10,000, but she is paid 1,000. And these are some of the things and some of the issues. I think these have to be properly addressed. And today's Madam Chief Guest, Madam Shirley Rani will address on these aspects with these few words. I, on behalf of the college, on behalf of the management, on behalf of the IQAC, on behalf of the Gender Equity Cell, I extend a very warm and cordial welcome to you, Madam, and we are eagerly waiting for your words of wisdom. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation to be the resource person for today's program. Let us have a very wonderful discussion. Thank you. Have a fruitful session ahead. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Today we have an eminent personality amongst us as a resource person, and I now request Madam Shirley Rani to take over. Over to you, Madam.
Good morning and a warm welcome to this session. Let me thank Almighty for such a blessed day and glad to meet you all today for this session. Let us all thank God for keeping us healthy and safe, and let His blessings shower on us always. I take this opportunity to thank our beloved correspondent, Sri Devananda Pai sir, member of the management, Sri Ganesh Krishna Bhatt sir, Principal Dr. Satish Kumar Shetty, Professor Josna, convener of Gender Champions Cell and her team, Professor Syed Khadar, IQAC coordinator, Professor Dr. Praveen Kumar Kesi, NAC coordinator, for inviting me as a resource person for this session. I thank all the faculty members, invitees, students, and virtual participants for their presence. I am very glad to say this. In this occasion, I appreciate and congratulate Besant Women's College postgraduate department for organizing a gender champions cell, which is very relevant for today. I appreciate their initiative because most of the things are unknown to both the gender. And now the things have become more complicated because we are into the modern technology and scientific field where the human relationships are very, very less. So let me start the session, and I hope all of you will enjoy and get enough information regarding the gender inequality in the workplace. We have come to witness over time that sustained periods of uncertainty and apprehension are known to alter human psychology and behavior. Now, how business and employment incorporate and embrace these changes will make or break an organization in a post-pandemic world. In a post-pandemic setup, how one designs a workplace that responds not just to the fears and anxiety of the workforce, but also integrates the full range of newly learned behavior and attitude that are evolved through the COVID crisis is what will set a business ahead of the curve. We are observing a new set of traits emerging across the workforce, and this will surely shape a future-ready workplace. Today, topic of discussion is gender equality issues, challenges, and solution at workplace. The topic is vast, and we need more time to cover all aspects, but I will try to discuss the most important facts. Let us begin discussing about what is gender equality, what is it, and why do we need it? Gender equality is when people of all genders have equal rights, responsibilities, and opportunities. Gender equality makes our communities safer and healthier. Everyone benefits from gender equality. Think about an unequal society. They are less cohesive. They have higher rates of antisocial behavior and violence. Countries with great gender equality are more connected. Their people are healthier and have better well-being. Gender equality is a human right. All citizens, regardless of their sex, gender, identity, and expression, sex characteristics, sexual identity, racial or ethnic origin, age, religion, belief, and any disability, must be able to pursue their chosen path in life and have equal opportunities to thrive, participate, and lead. Gender equality is good for the economy. Every day that we fail to deliver gender equality, we pay the price. We can live in a very safe and equal society when there is gender equality. We can have equal access of power, resources, opportunities, and be treated with dignity, respect, and fairness. Then, what is gender inequality? Gender inequality in India refers to the health, education, economic, and political inequalities between men and women in India. Gender inequality is one of the greatest barriers to the human security, peace, and development. Recently, we heard the news about the plight of women in Afghanistan. That shows how much gender inequality bring about insecurity and lack of peace. Gender inequality still exists in India within the households, workplace, and in larger societies. As per the data, let us see the literacy rate of the women and men, the female and males. The females 59.3% and 78.8% as on today. In developing nation like India, gender inequality starts manifesting itself at a very early stage. That is, when a girl child starts facing discrimination right from the womb of the mother, and it ends in female feticide. Gender inequality affects everyone, including men. Gender inequality is not, we are referring to the female population alone, we are talking about even the men. Gender inequality in India is a multifaceted issue that primarily concerns women, but some argue that various gender inequality indices place men at a disadvantage or that it affects each gender equally. However, when India's population is examined as a whole, women are at a disadvantage in several important ways. Although the Constitution of India grants men and women equal rights, but gender disparities remain. Discrimination affects many aspects in the lives of women, from career development and progress to mental health disorders. What are the major gender equality issues at workplace? Why we aren't closing the gender gap at work? Let us see in detail. The percentage of working women in India has almost halved over the last decade. A number of underlying causes are responsible for this, and they ultimately all stem from the same place. It's a well-known fact that women's workforce participation in India has been sliding rapidly, and they dropped to 16.1% in 2020-21. In rural India, the slide has been much worse, as women's contribution to agriculture work is largely invisible, and the sector has not generated employment for women formally. Now let us go through the issues and challenges. What are the issues and what are the challenges? First, let us discuss about issues. Gender stereotypes, sexual harassment, access to the labor market and the gender pay gap, access to resources, access to leadership positions, and female entrepreneurship. Hardship of women in every stage of life is always difficult to categorize. Woman wants to be equal in getting opportunities as man, and foremost challenge is how to balance work and home, the dual role she plays. Even today, majority of women were not given the right to take decisions, especially in the three important matters. Hope you agree with me, especially education, employment, and marriage. The gender gap in the labor force is rooted in challenges that working women across the world face, including juggling work and family responsibilities, sexism at the workplace, unequal wage and unsafe work environments, lack of creche, etc., etc. Scenario also needs to be studied from the viewpoint of the traditional roles of women have played in society for centuries and the patriarchal mindset at play in India. The woman mainly suffer because of the patriarchal mindset. She has two important places in her life. One is her mother's family, where she gets socialized first, and she learns everything as a family culture. Immediately after that, her marriage, she will be uprooted and kept in a new culture. So when she gets uprooted, she has to change, she get accustomed to the new culture. Along with that, if she's a working woman, things take a different step altogether. When jobs are scarce, men should have more right of a job than a woman. And when the woman works for pay, the children suffer. And gender bias, unequal pay, mental and physical harassment, insufficient leave are some of the key issues of working women at the workplace. Gender equality in workplace is not possible without gender equality in society. She plays a very vital role in the economic development of the country, and her contribution is also equal as their male counterparts. In this century, women actively participate in workplace, and many women desire a career and a place in the world. They want to stand on their own feet to become self-independent individuals, independent and free from other individuals. One thing that is clear is that women in all careers are striving to gain equality in the workforce today. Through their determination, women now have an ability to break out of the gender roles that were created for them by society. One of the issues that are affected women in the workplace, as I said, is stereotyping of women. Throughout history, women have taken the role of housewife, mother, and nurturer. Women are stereotyped to stay at home and take care of the house and children. Stereotype or rules about how women and men, girls and boys should begin in childhood and follow us throughout our adulthood. Not everyone experiences inequality the same way. The situation is worse and often different for people who face. It is not only women, it is the young people, the elderly members, men, then adults. There are so many categories where we see the gender stereotyping happening and which is affecting their behavior. Take the example of young people. Gender stereotypes affect behavior, study choices, ambitions, and attitudes about relationship. See, when you say gender stereotyping, for example, when you talk to a boy, don't behave like a girl. See, this affects him, and because it will affect his behavior and also his attitude. Take the case of men. Traditionally, we consider men to be very strong. The stereotype are difficult for many men to live up to. They feel pressure to be the real man, to be physically and emotionally strong and be the main income earner. Many workplaces don't offer men extended support, parental leave, or flexible hours. Men are more likely to drink, get addicted to alcohol, the chain smokers, take unhealthy risks, and engage in violence. They are less likely to seek professional help or talk about their problems with friends or family. And men are more likely to commit suicide when such type of stress comes to them. Take the case of adults. There is a discrepancy of pay. Suppose they are married, they are not given a placement. Then suppose they are pregnant, they are not given a option for coming back and joining for work afterwards. So there are so many things when the adults are taken. And women earn less than men, most of cases. And there is a lot of discrimination during pregnancy, on parental leave, or even when returning to work. Take the case of older people who are working in certain firms. The competence in the workplace, the lack of knowledge of technology and science, they opt for voluntary retirement. Women retire with half the superannuation savings of men. This affects women's financial security, health, and well-being, especially the older women. And also, most of the older women are at a risk of homelessness than men. Take the case of women from the tribal background. When they join for work, these women are experiencing gender inequality in the workplace and also make it worse by violent disposition and oppression. And they usually suffer family violence as well as the official disparity and discrimination in the workplace. Culturally diverse communities. Women from culturally diverse communities experience racism and discrimination on top of gender inequality at workplace. Migrant and refugee women are also insecure because low-paid work or their work is not identified. Women from non-English speaking backgrounds can face barriers to accessing services and understanding their rights. And men from the non-English speaking background suffer a lot, especially in the workplace, because they cannot fulfill and give them the opportunity to fulfill all the assignments that is given to them as per the requirement of the officials. Rural and regional women living outside the metropolitan areas, when they come to the urban areas, they find difficult of getting public services, access to transport system, and also greater risk of poor health and a lot of family violence and the discrimination in the workplace. Trans and gender diverse people. Trans and gender diverse people may feel forced to hide their gender identity when using services at school or at work. They are at greater risk of mental illness, verbal and physical abuse, and social exclusion. This is a trend that we are seeing today, especially in most of the workplaces. We have trans and gender diverse people. Women with disabilities. That is another category of women who suffer. Women with disabilities are more likely to experience family violence and sexual assault. They are more likely to be unemployed or underemployed. They are paid less than men with disabilities and women without disabilities. Even today, women are not treated the same as men. One area that clearly shows this oppression is the area of equal pay for equal jobs. Another area in which women are at a disadvantage in the workplace through discrimination. Discrimination can be an uncomfortable situation for the women involved. When I say discrimination, there are two types of discrimination: indirect discrimination and direct discrimination. What is indirect discrimination? Might be a woman being overlooked for a promotion or an employee displaying inappropriate sexual material to the workplace. Material in the workplace. Direct discrimination may be including a woman being discharged from her employment because she is pregnant or being excluded from after work the group events. Another major area where women have been affected in the workplace is sexual harassment. Sexual harassment is closely linked to sex discrimination. Sexual discrimination forces women into lower paying jobs, and the sexual harassment helps keep them there. One thing is very clear. Problem is sexual harassment or sexual discrimination. The problem continues to exist in the workplace, creating tension, and that make their jobs more difficult. In the last decade, companies have come forward for giving attention to some of these issues, but we do not know how far it has been solved in certain areas. There have been more training and education about women's issues. Even though there is more corporate training for these issues, this training may not work, but start educating people. We have to start educating people regarding this. Women need to overcome the image that they are sensitive people, which let their emotions control their mind. They need to prove that they can think with their minds and not their hearts when it comes to business. Most people want to correct the unequal treatment of women in the workplace. So far, we are trying to do this, and success is left within the society. One method that can be used to support equality would be introduce federal legislation to guarantee equal pay for equal work. The logistical problem associated with this solution would be great. Our attitude towards women in the workplace are slowly starting to change. More opportunities are appearing for women workers today. And the change can only fully occur when we change the attitudes of every individual towards women. When we accomplish that, then we can finally achieve gender equality in the workplace. Traditionally, Indian women had been the homemakers, but due to higher education, better awareness, and increasing financial demands of family, women also go out and choose careers. Although Indian women have started working outside their homes, but still there are several issues and challenges that working women face today. Women's mobility is closely linked to their family honor rather than their earning power or their ability to hold a position in the competitive work area. Women acknowledge that many instances of domestic violence are triggered by the idea that men are unable to accept their wives' newly found mobility. If working women have to go for business tour or any training programs for their career development, then they have to take the permission from their husband, family members, and they have to do proper arrangements for their children. Domestic violence is common even among women who do not go for work. The increased mobility is an additional reason for this violence. In a patriarchal setup, roles are clearly demarcated, and it is very clear that they are not treated equally in their workplace. They do not get the same benefits as that of the male employees too. Gender bias, that is unequal pay, security, mental and physical harassment, lack of proper family support, insufficient maternity leave are considered as major issues and challenges that working women faces nowadays. Advances in technology plus evolving work and the role of family for women in India have changed. The contribution to the business environment has changed drastically. The financial demands for Indian families are rising day by day. Higher cost of living, increasing expenses on education of children, increasing cost of housing properties in India force every family in India to look for ways and means of increasing household income. As a result, women in India, who are mostly known as homemakers, are forced to go for jobs and take the challenges that were considered only suitable for men, such as working in night shifts and call centers as BPOs. Being overlooked for a job, if you reveal that you are newly married or a new parent, you must take care of their kids. Women stands less chance in getting a placement. Not getting a job you are qualified for because the person hiring might instinctively believe that you are less capable of handling stressful situations or putting in long hours. Above that, ensuring a safe journey home or be safe at the office premises. If you work late at night, all these are the concern for women for today. And this is a challenge. Today, women are giving their best and active contribution in all the male-dominated fields, such as sports, medical, law, military, academics, politics, bank, top-level corporate positions. Moreover, Indian working women are facing a lot more challenges than their counterparts in other parts of the world. Women are not able to move up into the higher paid positions as quickly as men. As per the BBC reports, the glass ceiling where the number of women in positions of power, be it heads of states, senior managers or CEOs, are only a fraction of what it should have been equal. BBC reported that in 2015, the female made up only 11.2% of board members in Indian firms. Balancing personal and professional life, it is very big challenge for Indian working women to maintain a balance between their work and family. Due to such multitasking efforts of women, increase the stress and they become very unhealthy, and that will be the product of their stress. Sometimes the relationship with her soulmate becomes unbalanced if proper balancing act is not delivered in both personal and professional life. If we consider women's role in corporate environment, then sometimes they have to bring their work home, waking up early, ignoring her health issues, and get all the stuff ready for children and her husband, a big practical challenge. Many Indian families are still living in joint families along with their in-laws and parents. This adds more stress to women because they have to handle them and please all the family members of her husband. The belief of male superiority in the society creates several hurdles for women at the workplace. Women discover that they must be much better than their male colleagues to reach at the top. When she achieves that top position in the company, again it is much difficult for women to work with male employees. Also because of the social and the psychological tradition in the society, they consider men are better than women at work. The women colleagues too don't lend support to their own woman boss. Working in such conditions inevitably puts much greater strain for women than men. These types of problems make women less eager to progress in their career. When the family responsibility expands, the working women have to change their jobs, sometimes select part-time job or leave the job. This situation creates unnecessary stress for losing their job. Gender biases begin to take place at a very early stage in Indian women. It's very difficult to accept the fact that women are also capable of working shoulder to shoulder with men. Indian society supports male dominance in all major important challenging tasks, whereas women are considered to be weak and only capable of bearing lesser work pressure at the workplace. In India, the career and professional aspirations are still considered as secondary for women. In majority of the families, there is a lack of emotional and moral support given to the working women. And at the same time, there are many official expectations and deadlines that women have to fulfill to continue their job. The mental and the physical harassment. In order to achieve success in corporate sector, women feel that they must do better than their male colleague. This leads to higher expectations and efficiency by their boss. They have to face physical and mental harassment. This type of condition creates strain for women. And in some cases, we can see that there will be conditions like insufficient maternity leave, and it's also one of the causes of stress for women. And they have to take care of their baby as well as achieve the targets given to them in the office. Indian working women also feels quite insecure at their workplace. There are many cases where women subordinates are asked for sexual favors from their male superiors in return for the promotion and growth granted to them. The male superiors show that they have done some mercy or extra favor that should be repaid with much of a regard from women. In corporate sector, usually women are treated as weak and vulnerable, and hence male colleagues and superior think they can take any advantage of their female colleagues and subordinates. Negligible personal space Indian women have to maintain a balance between their families and career if they want to achieve independence and success in their life. Women working in corporate sectors and other private organizations mostly face the various crimes at their workplace because of the lack of security provided for them. Unequal pay is another issue for working women. It has been observed that women are paid low salaries as compared to male employees. Although women prove themselves more efficient than male employees, most of the time they are not paid equally. This creates depression and demotivation in them, which will affect their personal life. In today's time, also, it is expected that women's primary duty is only to handle their family and children. This creates demotivation towards their career development, but this is not the case for men in India. Working women with rigid schedules report more family difficulties than working women with flexible schedules. This can also cause health issues such as frequent headache, hypertension, obesity, etc. These are types of stress creating problems for the women, especially in the working place. Now, we have come to one general aspect about what are the issues and the challenges the women have to face, especially in the working place. Now, we have to look into the remedies which are needed to secure a fair and equal role in the workplace, and we have to bridge the gap, and we have to have some key insights and ideas to achieve this greater gender equality at work. And gender is not static. To make you all understand, gender is not static or immutable. Imbibe the gender equality and respect as core values, and we have to see what are the solutions that can be given to the gender at the workplace. Fight gender stereotypes. When you say fight gender stereotype, have age-appropriate conversations about gender stereotyping with your children, because preconceived notions about gender start young. So be sure to foster open conversations with children about stereotypes and outdated ideas about men and women. If you are recruiting or hiring, you are recruiting or a hiring manager, you have the diverse slate of candidates for every job. And please see that you are hiring people from different background with different talents. Next point is promote gender equality at home. Share the household chores and childcare equally, so that household chores and children care are every adult's responsibility. Ask yourself if there is an equal division of labor in your home. Watch for signs of domestic violence and try to end gender-based violence, whether at home or at workplace. We have the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act, passed in 2013 as a legislative act in India that seeks to protect women from sexual harassment at their place of work. It was passed by the Lok Sabha on 3rd September 2012. So get some help and support if you know a friend or acquaintance suffering from domestic violence or any other abuse. So try to support mothers and parents. Those responsible for children and teens need support in every society. When the children are growing in all the stages, they need the support of the mother and the parent. So offering a helping hand to the parents who are having the children and the teens, and that will really help them in order to balance their family and workplace. Reject chauvinistic and racist attitude. Do not make comments that ridicule, demean or humiliate women, blacklash people, indigenous people, then members of the LGBTQI community or other historically marginalized groups. Please don't make comments which is ridiculing them. Help women to gain power. Elevate them. Turn on career advice on your LinkedIn profile. Please try to help women to gain power, because it is a time that the women also show equal capacity and talent in order to come to that level. Recently, we have read in the newspaper regarding the women who are mixing business and pleasure. That is Sachi Malhotra, Komal Bardwa, Tanisha Rao and Anushka Gupta. Sachi Malhotra is the founder of that sassy thing. Komal Bardwa, the founder of the Blue Condoms. This is a man's work. That Tanisha Rao, the co-founder, Sankhya Product, and Anushka Gupta, co-founder of My Muse. All these are the examples to show that the women can have their own startup. So please elevate her. Turn on your career advice on your LinkedIn profile. Refer women for job opportunities. There are women than ever in the workplace today with equal intelligence, competence, and leadership ability. So make it a norm for women to negotiate. In addition to that, in addition to politics, we have to consider and support in promoting women and LGBTQ in the arts, science, sports, and other fields also. Please listen and reflect. One of the main obstacles to eliminating prejudice is that people have difficulty recognizing that is really existing. So try to pay attention to your assumptions and know that none of us is immune to making bigoted comments or holding biased attitudes. When someone points out something problematic in your speech, listen and reflect on it. Hire diversity. Ensure your projects and meetings have a diverse representation of talent both men and women, pay the same salary for equal work. For every dollar a man receives, woman earns an average of 70 to 90% only. And therefore, it is important to observe that companies have to pay the same salary. For example, if a person gets 100, the woman will be getting only 70 or 90. Why this inequal positions in the workplace? So we have to pay equal. And if it is not happening in your workplace, mobilize resources, contacts to request the publication of the employee's salary or ask for an equal pay. That's the only position that is in which we have to, or we have to generate funds for assisting the women to get extra pay. Sexual harassment and racism have zero tolerance for this. Employees must have a safe channel to report bullying, sexual harassment and racism without being exposed or dismissed. Proven cases should be punished. In addition, we have to explain how people are vulnerable and represented in such a situation, and the committees have to be organized in order to investigate and do the necessary solutions to all these problems, and we have to see that the woman is not victimized. Provide anti-bias training. Racism and prejudice at work often affect people from historically marginalized group and this means especially jokes, offensive comments made without harmful intent, but that hurts people and it generates stress. But when I say about anti-bias training, let us talk about training, and it has to start from the top down, not just the CEO and the board or the head of the institution saying that, okay, we are going to pay for it. No, we don't want the funding. We want each and every one in the organization or the institution to participate, and they need to be in attendance as well. Upskilling for the highly digital landscape. Now, present world is very competitive. We cannot say that we are discarded from the workplace or we are removed from the workplace because the people have got prejudice. No. Upskilling for the highly digital landscape, we have to be ready. In the post-pandemic workforce, skilling has become a priority. Organizations need to foresee their skills for the future, build a cultural foundation, construct modern upskilling programs, introduce new skill training programs so that the new demand in the workplace can be met. Employees' wellness and accelerated focus on fitness. Employees' wellness and accelerated focus on fitness. Mental health programs, especially in the workplace, especially after the pandemic, we have noticed there is a lot of insecurity. So we have to organize employees' wellness and accelerated focus on fitness. Mental health programs, yoga sessions, team outings, fitness programs, holistic wellness camps, faculty development sessions, celebrations are seeing rapid increase in adoption. And these programs are experiencing one of the most significant increase in popularity. Please raise the voice. Voice amplifies, directs, and changes the conversation. Don't sit silent in the meetings, conversations with your friends. Contribute to the conversation. Support one another. Whether it's a man or a woman in the workplace, please support one another. Recognize that everybody has got their own problems. Each one come to the workplace with their own problems, maybe financial, sometimes family with a spouse or whatever maybe. Please support one another. Their problems we won't be able to see outwardly, but please support in order to see that they can, all are human, all of us are human beings, and we have to accept our own identities, and each one's identity is different from one another. Share the workload. Share the responsibility of creating safe environment for vulnerability to be freely expressed. Share the workload in the workplace. Get involved. Acknowledge that your actions are crucial to the creation of fairness and accountability, and identify your commitments. Speak about them. Act on them. Get involved. Share experience and knowledge to grow wisdom. Gender balance. And try to share your experience and knowledge so the others also will grow. And please see that your gender balance your bookcase. Your bookcase should contain more writings of women, so that we will be able to go understand what the women expect in the modern society. And so please include your bookcase with the women writers' contribution. Know your rights. Human rights are women's rights, and women's rights are human rights. And the human right stands for your gender equality and it's concerned, especially the human relationship has to be extended and humanity is the final, and know your rights very well. Women are entitled to safety, inclusion, and fairness, and they will have them. No matter how ordinary, no matter how different, women confront current realities with the tantalizing possibilities of dignity for all. We must also be enable communities to look at working women with respect. One without the other will be like leaving a glass only half full. Achieving gender equality will not happen overnight. We all know when we discuss so many matters here, achieving a gender equality will not happen overnight. We are modeling the best practice and setting targets for women's leadership, equality of workplace, working with communities, working in equality in workplace, business, organizations. All of us have a role to play in promoting gender equality. International Women's Day marks it. We are celebrating International Women's Day every year, March 8th. It marks a pivotal moment for women's rights. Considering all these facts, India and its society has a mammoth task of empowering women to provide them the basic needs to prepare them for a safe and productive future. This change can only fully occur when we change the attitudes in every individual towards women. When we accomplish that, then we can finally achieve gender equality in the workplace. I am very thankful for your patient listening to this session, and I am very happy that I could cover as much as possible from my side, and hope you received enough information regarding the issues, challenges, and solutions, and also how to maintain equality in the workplace. Thank you one and all for your patient listening. Thank you.
Thank you, madam, for your informative and insightful talk. Now, the floor is open for discussion.
Ma'am, we have few questions here.
Yes.
Achieving gender equality being the fifth main sustainable development goal, gender equality and their harassment is increasing now. They are still treated as second citizens both at home and in the workplace. They are bullied more than their male counterparts in the social media too. Do you feel the strict enforcement of the law may reduce the gender inequality?
Yes, I understand the question. The thing is, gender inequality is the word gender itself is a socio-cultural concept, according to sociologists. And the thing is, if you are talking about gender harassment, especially when you're talking about the harassment and the unequal treatment that is given to the woman, and the law is the only solution, I don't agree with that, because when you look at the present scenario, even the family from where she is coming, that is very, very important, because it is members of the family as well as the members in the society who has to think how far the harassment can be reduced. It is not completely giving to the hands of the law in order to control that, especially in the social media. Even when a child is using a mobile, see, nowadays, I always advise that all the women have to use the mobile, because it's a technology. It is the new infrastructure and the development that we are seeing in the mobile. But because of that mobile use also, especially the social media, especially we are dragged towards so many harassment, female harassment. The thing is, understand from the family level and how you try to socialize and you try to inform the women and the child, especially as the female, the girl children, especially to understand what is this harassment about, and try to reduce the exposure to the social media as well as the other aspects, and try to avoid the insecure situations where they are working, whether it's in a workplace or in a college or wherever, maybe the organization where they are working. Please try to avoid the dangerous situations in which they are exposed to. Instead of depending and putting everything into the law to give a solution to that, it is better we think from an individual level to solve this problem. And also to see that we are more secure and identify yourself, which is what is required for you, you identify, so that we can prevent this type of harassment in the society. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. That question was from Sudha Kapikad. We have one more question from Professor Syed Kader. Service sectors are potential to excel and grab to balance and acquire equilibrium. The digitalization radically changed the approach, isn't it, madam?
Yes, digitalization changes rapidly, and only thing is that we have to get our skill developed in such a way so that we can compete. We have to empower ourselves so that we will be able to compete and live to the expectation of the organization, so that we will also be a part of the contributor on that particular side. Otherwise, it is very difficult for people to compensate with the advanced technology and science, and we lag behind with our skill. So better we move according to the need of the present situation, so that we have to upskill the skills, especially the technological skill, in a digitalized world.
Thank you, ma'am. There is one more question from Dr. Sridhara. Is it not the religion that play the main role? Unless there is a re-look into religious practices, it may not be possible to find the equality.
Religion, yes, I told you that now the trend is changing. There is a diverse way of approaching. Now, most of the companies, for your information, most of the companies are not taking even the name of the person in the biodata. When you are giving a biodata for the interview, the woman or the man enters the chamber of the panel, especially the interview panel. There is a new system that they are not giving the name of the person. Suppose I say my name is Anisha, whether I'm a Hindu or a Christian, it will be identified. If I say Nasima, I will be identified as a Muslim. No, nowadays it's a must for the companies. Now the new trend has come, whether you are in any organization, the biodata has to go to the panel only with the qualifications. No name, no religion, and except including nationality. Because the person has to know only what he can contribute to the organization, but not the religion or the name. For example, as soon as they enter, oh, you are Anisha, you are from which place? So we need not have to discuss that. So religion is much away. We keep religion.
Sorry to interrupt, madam.
Yes.
In India, in every applications, everywhere it is mentioned. Everywhere your caste, your religion, the very government itself says that you have to mention. Even there is a move to make the gender, this community-wise, caste-wise census also. When we are going in a regressive mode, you are telling it is only 0.0 point something you are telling where IT industries, few international companies, they may be asking in the applications only the quality of a person and his qualification, other things. In India, it is everywhere, it is there. Everybody first looks into the person's name, his community, his caste and his language. We are so much divided, subdivided and divided, and you are telling that nowadays we are, it is the international community companies where only few cases are being seen, not in general. In India, where you tell me, in application, when you go to LKG itself, when you are admitting a kid, first in the application itself, it is there. Your religion, your caste, your subcaste, all those things are there. Without that, the person is not entertained at all.
Okay, sir, I will interrupt in between. Okay, we know why Indian context is different, because in India, we talk about casteism. We won't talk this casteism issues outside. And only thing is that in India, we are talking about casteism, we are talking about religion, we are writing, especially when I am writing my name, I am writing Sheila Nadar, because I am coming under a category so that I will get all the benefits from the government. I want to study free of cost. I want to study without paying the fees. I want a hostel to stay. All these are the reason why we are giving the caste in detail. Whereas this problem is not coming in any other place. Why I told you that we are going to stop this, but one example given by one company, definitely it will be followed by other. So that in India, it will become a rule, especially when you're hiring people for employment. I'm not saying about the school or LKG or first standard. We have to, because even a parent's name, if you keep mother's name first and father's name second, that also become an issue. If the father's name is not written, immediately the school will question. So that is there in our India. Conditions are entirely different because caste is mentioned, religion is mentioned for the benefits, especially for the welfare of the child or welfare of the person. Otherwise, we need not have to include. See, general candidate, they simply write. They are not writing. They ask for a caste, so they write. They are not benefited by anything. Even religion. If you are talking about a person belonging to a particular religion, she or he has got benefit out of it. That's why they are involving it in application form, and by that they are getting the benefit. Otherwise, they will go and ask, why I am not given the benefit? Okay, sir, is it okay?
I differ.
Okay, sir. Please give your issue. Okay, please give your this one, no? Thoughts about that?
What I mean is, when we talk of opportunities, when equal opportunities, you empower the people, not that you do something where the quality and the standard you bring down. Instead of that, the quality and standard you maintain, you make others to attain it. You see, a person with a lower marks can be equated with a person with a higher marks just because of his community, caste or religion background. Is it not we are lowering the standard of the very education itself?
Yeah,
very quality of you empower. I agree. When hostel facilities are provided, when nutritious food are provided, when other infrastructure are provided, I agree 100% that is to be done. But not that you equate 25% with the 50%. 75% is equal to 25%. Where we are moving, in what direction we are moving. In the similar way, when you talk of inequality between genders also, instead of we are blaming the male for everything in the society, it is the nature, very basic nature itself. By birth, there is a role specified for the men and women. Uniqueness we should respect. Definitely we should respect each other. Not that we should compete with each other. That is what most of the time what I hear in all this. I attended several seminars like this. Everywhere we see that men are responsible for women position and other things, and society where everything men is blamed. Not that. I have 2 daughters.
Yes.
I have not kept even surname for them. Because I don't want. That is the way of my approach to the problem. See, they have to make up their own life. They have to identify themselves with their qualities, not by name or my father's name or something. So that is how. But unfortunately, the situation, as I told, here most of the times we look at the other side. What I mean is, we can empower, we can respect. Definitely there are certain roles. Certain roles are there where specifically men had to and where women had to. There are certain biological features itself is there. You see, you are talking, unfortunately I may little deviate, sexual harassment. In the sexual harassment, most of the time the problem is conceiving. That is the difficulty that women come across when something happens. The men will escape because he does not have a respect, role or anything afterwards. That is the unfortunate situation. There, you cannot talk of equality because woman by nature, by her very features itself, she is in a disadvantageous position. So such nature where nature itself has given certain specific features, we have to respect it. That is what I don't say women are inferior or men are superior.
No, sir, may I ask you one question, sir?
Each individual we have to respect. And it is a mutual responsibility. And as a home, as a society, until there is a cooperation, understanding from both the sides, we cannot run. Even a home we cannot run, office we cannot run, society we cannot run. There is a understanding and this cooperation is required.
Sir, what I am thinking is, you
Yeah.
said, no, men are responsible for women's plight. No, I never told that, because
No.
I wanted to tell you one thing. Even if I want to go tomorrow to Bangalore, and if I am pregnant, I won't be able to travel for a business purpose. Then I will tell a male colleague to help me so that you can attend that meeting. I am not traveling because I am pregnant. I am expecting, my due date is very close by. In such cases, the male will try to dominate, because that is the reason. And it is no. And even if you're talking about empowerment, yes, everybody need empowerment. And empowerment is not there. Why you wanted to talk for a change? For example, if you don't have necessary degree, how will you get a placement? Definitely you have to empower. You go on adding more degrees, more knowledge to your the degrees, so that definitely you will get an employment opportunity. You can fare much better than males in most of the companies. Nowhere nobody is preventing. But for a woman, the confining the work at home, looking after the children, and husband's attitude of not sending her for higher studies or anything, there are so many personal problems which will affect her. See, if I want to go for a work, my husband should permit. 20 days, I have to go for a training. My husband has to permit me. Otherwise, how will I empower? So you should understand, sir, the woman has got her own limitations. The man doesn't have any limitation. He can just go away because the responsibility is a woman. And empowering factor, I told you, everybody has to empower. Without empowerment, without proper skill, you cannot ask for a promotion, you cannot ask for a better scale, nothing. You have to do within your organization, you have to climb the ladder. And you have to see that you are to thinking the next level. That's all I said. So I'm not saying that men are subjugating the women. Okay, sir?
Okay, I agree. But you see, biologically, when we come to, that is why I raised the question of religion. You see, in marriage, after marriage, woman only goes to the male place. Why can't a male can go to a woman place?
I told you in the beginning only, sir. It's a patriarchal
because
system.
it is the, no, it is not like that. It is not the patriarchic. It is the religious instructions are there in most of the religions. That is the problem. We are suffering because of lot of things that influence us in the religious way.
No, sir.
What
The
is
parents,
happening?
It is a patriarchal
and it is the
hegemony.
parents.
It
The
is a
parents who
patriarchal
want the
hegemony,
girls
sir.
to move
That
away
is-
from
that-
the family. Because
That is why I am telling, when you talk of patriotic, then comes the when you say that that is where you are blaming the male side of the for all the issues. It is not the male side. The men
I will
are also
suggest you-
part of this society. Men are also part of this society. Women are also part of this society, where there is a equal opportunities for both. You talk of, yes, when women can decide, when men can decide, when men can go, when women can go. If both can decide, they stay. And another thing I observed was, you see, in joint family system, it is not the woman that she has put to a lot of strain or stress. It is the nucleus family that has put a lot of
100%.
strain and stress. It is not
Yes.
the joint family system that has put women into stress. Joint family system is a cushion where it is taking the care of everything. For all the ills of today's society is breakup of joint family system and a nucleus family system. That is
But
what
sir-
I feel.
But sir, in the joint family system, the psychological freedom was not there for the women. Whatever the Karanavar or the head of the family says, that has to be obeyed by all the members. The head of the family is the eldest male member. He decides everything in the family, including the what they wear and what they eat, what they have to cook in the kitchen.
Very true.
Everything is
Very true,
decided.
Rana.
And
Very
you know
true.
one thing, sir, there is a book called C.B. Memoria's Family Disorganization. Just to have a look at that page, sir. And you now spoke about one more thing, that is about patriarchal. See, every mother and father is thinking that the daughter is a burden. And once she comes back...
No, I don't. I told you I have two
wait.
daughters. No,
And
I
you
will
know-
tell
no,
you,
sir.
you can't generalize. You should not
No,
blame
I'm not
all the men.
generalizing.
You
See,
should
the
not
moment
generalize.
Sir, when the woman
That
comes
is
back, when she
generalization
comes
is the first bias we are having. Generalization is the first bias we are having.
No, I am not talking about that. When she comes back and say that I cannot adjust in the husband's family, the parents will have a big question in front of them. What next? Why they are not accepting her? Okay, you are not in a position to adjust with the husband's family. We will accommodate you. There are so many cases in Kerala where there is a lot of harassment. Recently, you heard they brought a cobra in order to kill a girl in the bedroom. So there are so many things that is happening because of the families where the woman cannot go back to a parental house. Because once she is gone, they think it is your responsibility to adjust and live with the husband's family. What this patriarchy, sir? Patriarchy is
But
dominant in
most
India.
of the divorce cases now, even in Dakshin Kannada, in Karnataka, it is the highest next to Bangalore. Divorce cases are filed in Dakshin Kannada.
Yeah.
I saw most of the cases when personally, individually, we talk to the persons who are affected. It is the woman in the family, that mother-in-law, who will be told as a responsible. I am very sorry to say this. Most of the cases, I have
Who is-
very
who
few.
is- who is- who is-
Lot of cases I am coming across where the mother-in-law will be the responsible and the girl is made to run away from the place.
Yeah. That she, but she
It
should
is a very
understand she is also a
unfortunate,
woman.
very unfortunate. We talk of inequality, but where from it starts? Why that head of the family, why then the mother-in-law feels that that girl who has just joined the house should be adjusted for everything. She can support that girl and say that I am with you.
But that is only rare cases, so there's a big proverb in early
No,
days.
ma'am, can I add to this?
Yes.
I'm Dr. Anita from Hassan. It is because of mother-in-law's frustration throughout the life. That is why they're showing that behavior.
Yes. And all the mother-in-laws are not like that.
Very few. In case if they react
That
to
is what I never generalize.
No,
There are
I'm
good
saying-
things are there. There are bad things are there. It is society. Always it is there. Only
No, sir.
percentage varies. Only percentage varies.
And the thing is, sir, when the mother-in-law cannot have the same support and affection and consideration and comfort given by the son to the daughter-in-law, when she sees that, definitely she gets frustrated. Because when I came here, there was no proper house, there was no proper bathroom, and I was to sleep. I had to sleep on the floor. That my husband didn't care when they didn't carry my baby. That my son is carrying the baby.
You're correct.
That means if I am affected, I am passing on that to somebody else. That is very bad, no?
That is
I
very
should
bad.
face it.
Sometimes,
That is very bad, no? Just because mother-in-law, that is why mother-in-law syndrome. When mother-in-law suffers, she wants her daughter-in-law also to suffer.
Sir,
Is it not bad? Is it not bad?
It is very rare case, sir. It is not universally true.
Yeah. And sir, leave them. Sir, you also having daughters, See that they are living separately, not with the mother-in-law. Don't stay with the mother-in-law, so that mother-in-law will not see. They can have an independent life of their own. So let them enjoy their life. They are the new generation. We cannot put everything into our shoe and think about. So they have to have a separate, healthy life that they have to lead. So we cannot compare our life with them. So please give them more comfort and don't interfere.
Men want servant. That's why they marry, ma'am.
Yeah.
They don't have emotional and psychological.
And sir, one thing, sir, even we are economically independent. The woman is economically independent. There is slight frustration and jealous in the mind of the man when she moves out.
We are
But they are
socially
not showing because they are scared of the society and they are scared about the people around. See, I am not saying that because I am also a woman. I am also a teacher who taught in a college. When I go out in the morning, say the principal has called today is an ACT meeting, we have to go at 7 o'clock. Why 7 o'clock? See, definitely every man will think. Why
prepare the breakfast and go.
You prepare the breakfast. Why this is not there? That is not there. Where we kept. So definitely they want to delay us.
It is equal responsibility. Both have to.
And that's why I told you, give her support.
That is what I am always telling. We cannot blame each other for all the ills in the society. It is the equal responsibility. That is what I say. Uniqueness of the person we should respect. First of all, we should respect the uniqueness of each individual, whether male or female. That does not matter. Just because when we talk gender stereotypes, this is the problem. This is the problem.
So now the scenario is changing, sir. Now men and women are more understanding. I think our children are more understanding than we all, because they understand what mistake we have done, we went through, should not be there repeated again in their life. So they are very careful in handling.
It is a need of our.
It is a need because everybody cannot go for divorce. For silly things, they cannot take a divorce, no, sir.
The basic need, according to me, for the equality, there are two things. That is what I observed in the society that to happen. One is education of the woman. Second is her economic independence. If these two things are achieved, automatically that equality will come.
Equality will come, 100%. And our family will be happy. The family and the children will be more happy.
Ma'am, one more problem. If the girl is more educated, there is no bridegroom. It is available.
This is what the counter effects. It is not like that. There are people. I have my own. She is a lecturer, professor in a college. Her husband is an ordinary person. He is a peon in a particular organization. It does not mean social status does not come in the family. Wife and husband. It does not mean that always husband should be higher educated than the wife. Or it is our creation. It is not like that. ಗಂಡ ನನ್ಗಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಓದಿರ್ಬೇಕು, ಅವನು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಉದ್ಯೋಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಅಥವಾ ನನ್ನ ಮಗಳಿಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಉದ್ಯೋಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದವನೇ ಸಿಗಬೇಕು. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್. ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದೇ ಉದ್ಯೋಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದವರಾಗಬೇಕು, ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಆದವರಿಗೆ ಡಾಕ್ಟರೇ ಆಗಬೇಕು, ಲಾಯರ್ ಆದವರಿಗೆ ಲಾಯರೇ ಆಗಬೇಕು. unless we break such things, inequality we will not achieve. That is why I told independence comes by education. Another thing is economic, that I agree. Once you are economically independent, you can assert your position, you can assert your views. As long as economically you are not independent, you cannot do anything. And as long as education does not permit you, you cannot face the society. In India, because of education, we had all the issues. Now women are equally educated. I see in most of the education institutions, the admissions are almost equal. Women and but again, religion and other things plays the role. And community-wise also, there are certain discrepancies are there, disparities are there that have to be addressed. Okay, sorry for interference.
No problem, sir. Even Vanitha, you are there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Vanitha, you are speaking about getting a bridegroom, especially for the woman's status and all. See, when we get married, we are only just a postgraduate or sometimes a graduate. After that, where you reach now? You are a doctorate now. See, look at the man, how much empowerment is happening in him. So there is nothing that even he wants to empower, he can empower. We are not giving any hurdle on the way. He can do that. See, along with us, they can study. They can be one part of our family. But all the thing is that why he want to have the frustration? Because today what you are, when you got married, what you were, there's a lot of difference. So please, it is a condition for the man to understand. It is not because it's our demand in the workplace that we made this. You had a demand from the workplace and you have to empower. And that he should not get the frustration or he has to have a difference of opinion. Understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Now you will think, now I am thinking where I am now. I married a graduate and I am now a postgraduate with additional 5 degrees. So that is possible by every individual, whether it's a man or a woman. But the man may not try. The woman is going on. She is very hardworking. Not only she is very committed.
Comparatively lazy
man. Don't generalize anything. Not to generalize anything. There are cases.
Sir, with the due respect, more men are lazy comparatively than the women.
You have to make a study and publish a paper, and it becomes a thesis.
Surely, sir, I'll do that.
Sir, any more questions, Josna?
Ma'am, there is one more from Dr. B.R. Annasagar.
Yes.
Compulsory free education is the panacea for achieving equality. Don't you think, madam?
Compulsory and free education now, up to what age? So till after that, what will you do? The thing is that compulsory education is equality, we think, but how many of them are gaining by that? How many of them are utilizing it in future? It is only the step taken by the government to bring equality of opportunity for all the children. But the only thing is that how you take it, how you carry forward, that depends on that person. Then we talk about equality.
Already directive principles of our constitution says that education had to be provided
compulsory, free of cost.
Compulsory. It is there.
But how many of them are taking ahead, sir? You have to take it ahead. Simply government gives, I do till 14 years. That is not a condition, or 14 or 16 years. Especially for the different.
We have to see
take ahead.
We have to see the reality, not the act.
Take it ahead and prove to the government that whatever you are given as a basic, I built upon that a big castle, and now I am ready for any opportunity. Okay.
Very good presentation. I appreciate you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. Yes, Vanitha.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Vanitha, for the question, sir. Sridhar, sir, thank you so much for giving me an insight.
Because what I felt is this is a forum we have to bring out certain things so
Yeah,
that
yeah, definitely.
we have to. It is not the individually opinion differs, but
Yes,
how
yes.
I look at the things, how you look at the things are they may be different, and
different.
our life experiences may be different.
Yes, definitely. Because as a
uh,
girl child, even I
yeah.
feel there are a lot
Yeah.
of things I learned in my life. This is only a forum to discuss about gender inequality.
Yeah.
Other than that,
No,
there are many
that is-
practical things which I learned in my life, personal
Well,
life.
it is, that is why I say we cannot generalize. You see, when
Yes.
we had when my wife conceived, we were knowing that it is a female child. Doctor asked me those days, it is I am, but I told I am not worried about the gender. I am worried about the proper life.
Life
proper
of the
life,
child, yes.
life of the child.
Yeah, normal
And
hands.
it was a premature and lot of difficulties were there. Doctor asked me. I told what all best possible you do to save the life.
Yes, correct. So you're a great father. You're a great father. I appreciate.
She is a doctor. She is in US now. My
Yeah,
first
very
daughter.
nice. Yes.
First daughter. My second daughter also, when second conceived after several years, doctor told, again we come to know that there was at the third month, there was a problem. There was a breach. Medicine was available. I told doctor, save that fetus. I don't want to have aborted. And I have a second daughter. She is in the third year MBBS now. I am not after girl or boy. I want a good citizen to be there in the society.
Correct. Yes, sir. You are right. You are right, sir. You are right. I really appreciate the great father. Actually, you have given a contribution to the whole society and the whole world. You know, a doctor's daughter, you know, she is serving the society now. It's a great thing that you have done. If she was not there, we would not have thought about her contribution in the society. Even I am proud because as a teacher, how much I can give to my students. So if I was not born, my mother must have thought about that.
You would not have. We do not have an opportunity today to meet.
That, whenever there is a what you call feticide, we can imagine how it is going to happen for the others. Okay, and actually we should be proud being born in this world as healthy children. Okay.
Yes, that is the greatest thing. Thank you for sharing your views.
Thank you, sir. We are very happy.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
And one last question from Sudha Kapikar.
Yes.
Respecting every human being is sufficient to instill the sense of gender parity through equal treatment, which is undermined in our society. We claim inclusive society, which is a myth. What is your views?
Yeah, parity is very important because, you know, we have to bring them together. We have to live in a society with both male and female equally sharing their feelings, responsibilities. Otherwise, we can never think about gender equality and we cannot achieve anything because this is a very important aspect, especially the parity. That is, we have to pay parity for the bringing about gender equality. Otherwise, it is impossible for the society to live because we have to depend each other. We have to share our feelings, you know. So parity is a very important factor.
Very nice session.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah. You elaborately covered, but the time is not sufficient. It should be a full day. It should be a full day session.
And it should have been a personal
one-to-one.
So
one-to-one.
Otherwise, this is simply with virtual one. People won't be able to give their expression also, no?
Yeah.
This
2 years back, a similar session we had in Agnes. That was a offline only. It was very nice. We had a good discussions there.
Yes.
So offline nice. we can have better.
So whenever we will have meet together, sir, in order to discuss important discussions about this type of issues. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for your participation, sir.
Jyotsna should do the offline session once, Rani.
Yes, sure, Sudha. Offline session I am very happy with because I can talk to people. I can take their opinions in between. They can ask questions. I feel happy about that. Thank you, Sudha.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Now I request Mr. Arul, Department of Political Science, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, one and all. Feeling gratitude and not expressing it. is like wrapping a present and not giving it. I, Arun Kumar, from the Department of Political Science, deem it my pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks. Firstly, I would like to thank Madam Shirley Rani, resource person of today's webinar, for her insightful words. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you so much, Arun.
I would like to extend my gratitude to the chief guest, Sri K. Devanand Pai sir, for his presence. Thank you, sir. I thank our principal, Dr. Satish Kumar Shetty, for his guidance and support. I thank Sri Ganesh Krishna Bhatt for his presence. And I also thank Dr. Praveen Kumar Kesi, NAC coordinator, and Professor Syed Khadar, IQAC coordinator, for their constant support. And I thank Mrs. Josna Rajesh, convener of Gender Champion Cell, and her team for organizing such a wonderful webinar. Thanks to Mrs. Shaila Kamath for her soulful prayer. Thanks to Mr. Ritesh Kumar for his technical assistance. Last but not the least, I extend my gratitude to all virtual